There's plenty of drama unfolding around the NFL in the aftermath of minicamp, and while that's not unusual for this time of year, the situation involving TJ Watt is attracting more attention than most. The Pittsburgh Steelers superstar edge rusher is in the middle of a contract standoff that could have league-wide implications. One of the most fascinating potential outcomes? A blockbuster trade that sends Watt to a franchise looking to redefine its future, the Washington Commanders. While no trade has occurred and the Steelers remain publicly optimistic about working out a deal, the uncertainty surrounding Watt's absence opens the door to endless speculation. And when you're talking about one of the best defensive players in the world, any movement, or even the hint of it, sends tremors through the NFL landscape. Watt's situation is complex. As a player, there's no question about his value. A former NFL Defensive Player of the Year, he has redefined the outside linebacker position in Pittsburgh with a relentless motor, elite athleticism, and a level of impact that rivals any player on either side of the ball. When he's on the field, the Steelers are different. They hit harder, move faster, and play with a confidence that stems directly from Watt's presence. But as he enters the final years of his contract, Watt is also making it clear that he expects to be compensated like the top-tier player that he is, and that means resetting the market once again. The Steelers, historically cautious with big-money deals, find themselves in a difficult spot. They already paid Watt once, making him the highest-paid defender in football back in 2021. That investment paid off. He tied the NFL's single-season sack record with 22.5, won Defensive Player of the Year, and cemented his place among the all-time greats in Pittsburgh. But now, several years later, with the edge rusher market climbing even higher, Watt wants, and frankly deserves, another raise. With new quarterback Aaron Rodgers on board and the Steelers making a push for contention in 2025, the timing of Watt's contract push puts pressure on Pittsburgh's front office to act swiftly, or risk a full-blown standoff. While Pittsburgh insists things are under control, Watt's absence from mandatory minicamp suggests otherwise. And in today's NFL, when star players skip team activities, teams notice, and so do other franchises. Enter the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are in a fascinating position. After a strong 2024 campaign that saw them make the playoffs in rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels' first year as a starter, the franchise is finally showing signs of turning the corner. For decades, the Commanders were mired in dysfunction, poor management, lackluster results, and a revolving door of quarterbacks defined the organization. But under new leadership, with a new coaching staff and a potential franchise quarterback in Daniels, there's finally a sense of hope in the nation's capital. The pieces are starting to come together. Now, the goal is to sustain the momentum and push further, and that's where the TJ Watt situation becomes incredibly relevant. For Washington, the idea of acquiring a player like Watt isn't just about improving their defense. It's about sending a message. It's about proving to fans, players, and the rest of the league that this team is serious about winning now. That they're not content with a wild card appearance, they want more. And what could be the kind of player who takes them there? Reports from outlets like Last Word on Sports have already begun to toy with the possibility. In one hypothetical scenario, the Commanders, who lost Dante Fowler Jr. in the offseason, could pursue Watt as a way to immediately upgrade their pass rush. Fowler was their leader in sacks last year, and while Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner have talent and experience, they are not pass rushers of Watt's caliber. Simply put, Watt is a game changer. He's the kind of defender who turns 3rd and 6 into 4th and long. He forces turnovers, frustrates opposing quarterbacks, and anchors a defensive identity. Washington's offense, led by Daniels, showed flashes of brilliance last season. The rookie's dual-threat abilities energized the unit, and as he gains experience, he figures to improve even more. The key now is surrounding him with a balanced team. That means building a defense that can not only keep up but win games on its own. Adding TJ Watt could do just that. Suddenly, Washington's front seven would become one of the most feared in football. And with the offense likely to improve, the Commanders would be positioned as legitimate contenders in a crowded NFC. Of course, that dream depends on Pittsburgh's willingness to entertain offers. And that's far from certain. There's a school of thought that says the Steelers will never trade Watt. He's too important. He's too respected. He means too much to the fan base, the locker room, the entire identity of the team. To trade him would be to admit that something is broken, and for a franchise that prides itself on stability and legacy, that's a tough pill to swallow. But business is business. And if contract negotiations stall, and if Watt becomes truly disgruntled, then the Steelers may find themselves with no other option. Letting a player of Watt's caliber sit out the season, or play unhappy, does no one any good. Better to move him now and get a haul of picks and players in return than to let the situation fester and spiral out of control. And let's not forget, there is precedent. Even legendary players get traded. Khalil Mack, Jalen Ramsey, Tyreek Hill. No one is truly untouchable in today's NFL. If the right offer comes along, and if it allows the Steelers to fill multiple needs while giving them financial flexibility, then even Watt could be moved. But that's a big if. According to a recent report from NFL insider Mike Garafolo, the Steelers remain optimistic. He described the ongoing talks between the two sides as not contentious, and even suggested that the team believes a deal will get done before training camp begins. I know that they feel really good about the talks that they've had and the offers that they've made, Garafolo said. Mike Tomlin has the belief that TJ Watt is going to be just fine working away from the facility, so they're not stressing about that part of it. Garafolo also noted that minicamp fines are not mandatory, meaning the Steelers could choose to avoid penalizing Watt in a show of goodwill. That would align with the team's narrative that this is a minor blip, not a major problem. But if that were true, would Watt still be absent? Would there still be rumors? Would other teams, like the Commanders, be watching so closely? The reality is that in the NFL, perception matters. If teams sense a fracture, they will pounce. They will call. They will make offers. And they will hope to catch another franchise in a moment of indecision or weakness. For Washington, this could be that moment. This could be the chance to strike, to land a superstar, to accelerate the rebuild. Will they do it? That depends on many factors. How desperate are they to win now? How much would they be willing to give up? Would they send a 2026 first-round pick? A 2027 second-rounder? A defensive starter? Would they restructure their cap space to make it work? And more importantly, do they believe Watt is the missing piece? Only the Commanders can answer that. And only the Steelers can decide if they're ready to move on from the player who has defined their defense for nearly a decade. For now, all we can do is wait. Wait for the next report. Wait for the next quote. Wait for training camp. Because in the NFL, things change fast. What seems unlikely today can become inevitable tomorrow. And if whatever does become available, there will be no shortage of suitors. But Washington, with its rising offense, hungry fan base, and newfound organizational stability, may be the most intriguing landing spot of them all.